let's be honest, the term social media analytics can sound a little intense, right? It kind of brings up these images of complicated charts and just endless data. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on all that. We're going to demystify it and show you a completely different and way more powerful way to think about the whole thing.
So let me just ask you a quick question to get started. When I say that word, analytics, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? No, really, think about it for a second.
I'm willing to bet it was something like complex, maybe overwhelming, or, oh yeah, the big one, spreadsheets. If that's you, don't worry, you are definitely not alone. There's this huge perception out there that analytics is all about crazy formulas and super intense number crunching.
But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if being great at analysis has nothing to do with being a math whiz and everything to do with being something else entirely?
And there it is. This is our big reframe for today. It turns out the best analysts in the world, they think less like accountants and way more like detectives. It's about deduction, it's about observation, and it's about connecting clues that no one else sees. It's a full-on investigation.
Okay, so if we're going to think like a detective, what's our first rule? Well, it's this. At its very core, analysis isn't some complex math equation. It is simply the act of comparison. Let's really break down what that means.
You know, we're all chasing insights, right? That's the buzzword. But an insight isn't some magic thing a tool just spits out at you. No. It's what happens in our minds when we take one piece of information and connect it to a reference point. That connection, that's where the magic happens.
Let me show you exactly what I mean. Take this number, 500 followers. By itself, it is completely meaningless. Is that good? Is that bad? We have absolutely no idea because it's just sitting there in a vacuum. It's just data.
Now, watch what happens when we just add one reference point. Boom. Suddenly, 500 followers tells a story. When you see it next to a competitor with 7,000, our 500 followers now has context. It has meaning. We instantly have an insight into where our brand stands.
And that is the fundamental principle. Data alone is just a number on a screen. But the moment you compare it to last month, to a competitor, to an industry average, it becomes a story. And your job as an analyst is to find the most compelling stories hidden in the data.
Okay, so we know our job is to find stories through comparison. But that leads to a really practical question. How often should we be looking for them? This brings us to a really important idea called the analysis cycle. Basically, the repeatable rhythm of your investigation.
Choosing your cycle is one of the first, most important decisions you're going to make. Should you be in there pulling reports every single day, every week, or maybe just stepping back and doing it once a month? The answer, as it always is, well, it depends.
See, your perfect rhythm really depends on three key things. First, how active is your community? Is it buzzing all the time, or is it a slower burn? Second, what are your actual resources? Like, how much time can your team really dedicate to this? And third, and this one's huge, what is your team's attention span? How often can they realistically take in this information and actually act on it?
And what's so great about looking at it this way is you start to see the trade-offs. A short, weekly cycle is amazing for a really busy channel where you have to be reactive and tactical, but it takes up a lot more time and energy. On the flip side, a longer, monthly cycle is perfect for getting that big-picture, strategic overview of a less active channel, and it's way less demanding on your team. There's no single right answer. It's all about finding the rhythm that fits your brand and your team.
All right, so we've found our rhythm. Now it's time to double down on that Sherlock Holmes idea and really adopt the right mindset, because honestly, more than any tool or process, this is what separates the good analysts from the truly great ones. So it's time to put on your detective hat.
Because the best analysts, the real detectives out there, they don't just stare at numbers on a dashboard. They dig deeper. They go on a hunt for the context, the why behind the what. They're looking for the stuff that isn't immediately obvious.
So where do you even start looking for clues? Well, clue number one, the brand's history. Has it gone through any big changes, like a rebrand or maybe even a crisis? You'd be surprised how those past events leave fingerprints all over today's data.
Next up, you have to investigate the consumer. And I don't just mean basic demographics. I mean, what is a day in their life actually like? What gets them excited? What do they worry about? The more you understand them as real people, the more all the data will just click into place.
And finally, you have to connect your social data to the rest of the business. What other marketing campaigns are running right now? Is there a big TV ad out? A massive sale? You know, a big spike in engagement might not be some social media miracle. It could be the direct result of something happening completely offline.
So think of it this way. Your detective's toolkit should be filled with this kind of deep audience knowledge. It goes way beyond just age and gender. It's about their cultural background, their buying power, and most importantly, what truly motivates them and gets them excited about your brand. This is the context that turns boring numbers into powerful insights.
Okay, we have our process, we've got our detective mindset on. But what's the point of all of it? This brings us to the end game. Because brilliant analysis is totally useless if it doesn't actually lead somewhere. It has to go from data to decisions.
And this, right here, might be the single most important takeaway of all. An insight that doesn't lead to an action is worthless. It's just a fun fact. The entire value of this whole process lies in your ability to do something different or better because of what you've learned.
And this is the payoff. When you do it right, this is what happens. Good analysis, that investigation we've been talking about, it leads to real, tangible business outcomes. It helps you optimize your strategy. It leads to way better content, and ultimately, it fuels meaningful audience growth. It's never been about making pretty charts. It's about making a real difference.
So, I'll leave you with this. The great Sherlock Holmes could look at the teeth marks on a simple walking stick and figure out the owner's entire life story. The exact same principle applies here. Your data is absolutely filled with clues. The only question is, what story is waiting in there for you to discover?